Clearly, trade is part of the solution in terms of inclusiveness, in terms of openness, fairness. However, trade has to be also transparent in terms of how transactions are taking place. I hear a lot of civil society organizations bashing trade. Everyone speaks about the limits of the WTO or the limits of bilateral trade agreements. However, we have also shown, and post-COVID and the Russian aggression on Ukraine has proved that trade has to be there, because without trade you will have bottlenecks in terms of access to the goods, but also in terms of pricing. And we are using digital tools and more transparency in terms of the value chain. So what we need to do is clearly to have a multi-stakeholder approach in terms of trade openness, to have all the parties as part of this discourse. What we are trying to do, for example, on sustainable cocoa in Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire and Cameroon, is to have all the players, from farmers organizations, women-led organizations, to the other parts of the value chain as part of the solution, to have cocoa as part of a global business, but coming from a local reality. So, and then using the instruments and tools to enhance price transparency across the value chains. And we have tools like VCA4D, Value Chain Analysis for Development, and other tools, Trade for Development, Aid for Trade, to actually support this process of accompanying trade across also vulnerable groups of society. What we have been doing in the past years around the EU Green Deal, the Farm to Fork, and all aspects of the greening agenda is actually to not only green from an environmental point of view, but also to make the value chains more robust from a due diligence point of view. Human rights lens, this is the CSDDD, due diligence, which has also needs to be seen within the context of the EUDR, for example, the EU Deforestation Regulation. And it is through that lens that we need also to support and to accompany these countries to lift them, not only from an environmental point of view. We know that deforestation creates harm and will not be sustainable from an environmental point of view. But it also has to embed the social underpinnings of living wages, living income, and livelihoods, so that farming communities can be prosperous, and that we give them the tools and also the de-risking instruments in terms of innovative finance, in terms of climate finance. It's hard work, but this is the only way forward, because we need to debunk a bit the concept of trade, but also the status quo of not doing anything or thinking that a voluntary approach will solve the problems. That is not the case, as the past decades have shown.